We did it, guys. We got the inferred blessing from the GOAT Debo SC2. Thanks for replying to me on Twitter, man. So this is my got season 10 Witch Doctor guide, and we're going to be talking a little bit about 4s, 3s, 2s, and actually in the background I'm going to show you a solo 88 that I just did that got number 51 on the leaderboard, and I recorded on April the 20th. We didn't make it quite top 100 in all brackets, but we got close enough, and I think I got some good strategy to share with you guys that I think you might really like or find interesting, at least. So definitely not claiming to be the best. This season wasn't the greatest time-wise. I had to go out of town quite a bit, and sort of the guys that I was playing with wasn't a great timing for them either, so it's kind of an off season, but we'll be back at it again for season 11. So I'm going to start this up. This is my solo 88, but I actually wanted to talk about 4s first. And in my last video, I discussed a little bit. I glanced over a couple things, but I did talk a lot about the importance of fire convention and making sure that you're setting up to doing the most amount of damage in that 4-second window during your fire convention. I have quite a little bit more to say other than just that, as far as maximizing your Witch Doctor DPS in 4s. 4s is really fun because it's not that stressful, because when you have a Z Monk and a Z Barb, you can literally just take anything. You can sit in the middle, and most of the time you're just holding down fire bats. And really the hardest thing is making sure that the things that you're trying to kill have Swarm and Haunt on them, and making sure that you're actually spinning on them. That's basically it. But what I have found is that the secret is you want to cast Swarm less than what you think, and Haunt more than what you would think. One thing is, casting Locust Swarm too much is going to drain you mana. It costs 300 mana, which is like almost like a third of your pool, depending on if you have mana on your offhand or if you put it on your Paragon points. But it's pretty punishing if you overdo a Locust Swarm, but also if you just don't do Locust Swarm, you're not going to do any damage at all, and so that is pretty bad too. But Haunt, I have found that you want to cast Haunt probably more than what you should think. And yes, you can laugh at me. I'm singing and dancing. Okay, when you're solo GRing, you gotta have the tunes on. I'm not listening to Purity Ring, but if you do listen to Purity Ring, it will increase your damage by 2 million. I'm just kidding. If I make it to 100 subs, I'll share with you guys the 4 songs that I listened to there. Okay, back to 4s. So the importance of Pain Enhancer is the stim that you get from the bleeding. And I know that's sort of obvious, but Witch Doctor is multiplicative damage, like the more mobs that you have around you. So, like for example, if you open up your sheet damage and you've got 30 mobs around you that are bleeding, you're going to be doing like an insane damage, for something to the tune of 25 to 30 million sheet damage, which is busted. And that's because your attack speed, you hit certain breakpoints, and your bats tick more per second. So you can increase your bat ticks by up to 2 to 3 times more a second with enough mobs, which is pretty insane. So also in 4s, you want to minimize the amount of times that you're just standing there spinning on 5 or less mobs, and 5 is actually pretty bad. You like need, I don't know, you can't really put a hard minimum on it, but like 10 probably would be just like rough number. Also on 4s, the best thing that you can do with to help your group is to know exactly which champs and elites you want to take before even doing anything to them, depending on their mob type and their fixes and however much whites you have around them, stuff like that. Basically, you want to be, if you do decide that you're going to kill it, you don't want to kill all the chaff around it, because we're so area damage driven based that if you kill all the chaff, and then if you weren't damaging the actual elite of the champion, then you just lost out on a lot of damage. You might as well just skip it anyways, because you can't just sit there and spin on just the elites or whatever. The best thing to do is kill or do most of the damage to the champion or elite while there's a lot of area damage around you. This might be obvious. It took us or me a lot longer to kind of really let this sink in. But also in 4s, you can take a full screen of mobs, kind of like here. Well, actually, I just procced there. But even more so. But in solo, you can't really handle more than 1 or 2 elites, just because there's just too many fixes. You can't take constant poison and arcane and molten and all this stuff. But in 4s, you literally just stand in one spot, and if it's in a good spot, you just hold on fire bats, and that's it. You can take anything, no problem. So 4s, making sure you know what you're killing, what you're skipping, which is, I still stand to what I said previously, is if it's in question to skip, you should probably just skip, because it's just really easy to take down the chaff than anything else. In 3s, you have to be the RG killer as well, because I think the double DPS Witch Doctor variant is better than the double DPS variant. It's just safer and it's probably easier. But you can't wear Taeguk, and you have to wear Stricken, and it kind of depends on what Rift Guardian you get. It's kind of annoying that on the Rift Guardians that spawn ads make it so that your Stricken can't stack, which means that it takes the RGs much longer to kill, which Witch Doctors are already not equipped to take Rift Guardians down at all anyways, just because we're so reliant on Soul Harvest stacks. So yeah, 3s is still fun, and also really you shouldn't ever 3s, to be honest. 4s is just so much better. You get more EXP and you get more everything, and the community is big enough. You just look for whatever piece you're missing and then bring them on and jam. Diablo's pretty good about plug and play. Just like get the piece you need and jam away. Unless you're just playing to get on the 3s leaderboard. It's really the only reason why you would play 3s, in my opinion. Let's see here. 2s is, assuming you're doing Witch Doctor Monk, my first piece of advice for 2s would actually be to not play Witch Doctor. Just play a wizard. But if you're like me and stubborn and want to play Witch Doctor, it's hard going from 4s and even 3s to 2s, because without the barb, you don't have Ignore Pain, which means that you're really easily CC'd, or be it nightmared or knockback or frozen or whatever it is, and so you have to stand in the monk's temple, which is basically you and your monk have to just be in sync on where you're going and what you're killing and stuff like that, and you have to kill the RG too as well. But it's still pretty cool as long as you're not used to playing 4s and then you go to 2s. It's not so bad. All right, what else? Should we get to solos here? Just a quick note on this 88 that I'm cleaning here. Yes, I did get lucky on the map layout. I had a power. I had some decent pylons. I had a good Rift Guardian. So I was lucky in that. I had pretty okay champions and good fixes, things that I could take out. And let's see. I didn't really honestly fish that much. I maybe used 5 keys to get this particular setup. Or I played through all 5, but then I finally got the 88 on this playthrough right here, thanks to the RG basically, which was the hardest part. Let's see here. Playing solo, I kind of talked about on Reddit previously about how it's a dance. You kind of gotta have quick feet. I like to say 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You sort of just have this tool bucket while you're spinning, and you have things. So let's say an elite or something is attacking you, but you're spinning. Well, you can do a couple things in response to the thing, or maybe not something attacking you, but maybe like there's an affix or something like that. You can either spirit walk and become immune for that time, but if spirit walk is down, then you have to do something else. You can CC it with hex, which is actually really useful. You can have your Templar stun it, or grip it away, or S Johann it, or whatever, and kind of interrupt whatever it's doing. But you don't have any control over that per se. And you can also use your second life passive, like while you're spinning on something, if you want to definitely kill something. In solos, you kind of have to kill. You can't skip as much as you can in fours, because you have to take the packs. You have to take smaller packs, because you can't really take like these huge packs. You just can't handle all the affixes, and so you're not able to skip as much. And plus, actually, it's a lot easier to kill the elites and champions solo, because they have less health. But as long as you're able to weave in your tools, if I may, basically Spirit Walk, Hex, and your Templar. Your Templar is actually your bro. You and him, he's your number one pal. Two-step process. He grips it and you rip it. If you're just in like a nice big room, you want to be dotting everything up, making sure everything has haunt, and then waiting until he Cyclone Strikes or Esso Johann something in a huge pack, and then you go to that pack and you spin, and you just 2 seconds of spinning, you're killing everything as long as everything dotted. So that's one of the best little solo moves that you can play. But honestly, we're just, like I said earlier, we're not really equipped to kill the Rift Guardian effectively or efficiently, just because we're so reliant on Soul Harvest stacks. And Fire Bats is kind of annoying, because you either have to sit there and take all the damage that they're doing while you're batting, or you have to like dodge whatever it is that they're doing, which is can be kind of annoying. But yeah, basically knowing when to sit there and bat and when to dodge affixes is all that playing solo is. I probably don't stand in the Oculus Ring as much as I probably should, but it's like knowing when to sit there and know what you can take. And what I find there, and I actually thought I was going to take that mob, and then I ended up skidding it. It was like a Buzzy, or a Wasp, and normally you skip runners, so melee mobs are really easy for Fire Bats, because they just run into your bats and then just get eaten. But things that run away or whatever are really annoying and really hard to do. And also, I hate Knockback and Nightmarish. Let's see here. We kind of talked about the Templar being really important, in the sense that he will clump mobs up for you, and then you can take that down. He's also providing the Unity and the Oculus Ring, and also the other thing that he's huge for is in his main hand. I really like to do the thing called I forgot what it's called, and I don't know how to pronounce it either, but it's called the A Jang Do or something like that. It's like freeze a mob at 20% or less. It's insane on a Rift Guardian. It's like a 3-second stun. So if you can just get the Rift Guardian down to 20%, you can just take him down 20-0, and like that 3-second stun, just sit there and bat it up. It's also pretty good on pretty high health champions elites. But yeah, guys, this was my first little guide. I'm definitely going to be back for season 11. I'm going to be doing some streaming and doing some videos for some other games. Please, if you liked it, get me a subscribe. I'm trying to make it to 100 subs so I can have a custom URL. Yeah, talk to you later.